Hi all, I hope everybody is fine. Today I have bring a full fine course on Python for the beginners. In this tutorial, you're gonna learn everything that you wanted to know about Python. So sit tight, relax and follow along with me. Very first question most of the people would have, why do we learn Python and where we can use this Python actually, even if we learn it. So basically, Python is the most popular language as of now in the market. We learn Python for the many reasons. It is being used for the web development, data science projects, machine learnings, and even it is being used to automate most of your repeated tasks, which you have to do multiple times. For this course, you do not need any prior programming language or programming knowledge to get started with Python. Okay, in this course, I will cover everything from the scratch. So if you are new here, make sure you can subscribe to my channel so that I can motivate myself to bring such courses on other technologies also. Let's jump into the course. Very first chapter, it would be we will write our first Python program or project. For that, we need two software to be installed on our machine. First is Python, second is code editor for the Python. For Python, we have to go to the official website. So official website, you can see python.org or organization. So here you have to click on the downloads and you have to click on the latest version. So you can see download Python 3.12. So you can click on it and it will open I think it is already installed on my machine. That's why I'm not going to download and install it, but you can download it and all you have to do it, you have to click on next button. So there is an checkbox also which you have to take. Once this will be downloaded, you have to download the second software, which is the code editor for the Python. So we have multiple code editors in the market for the Python. First, we'll understand what is code editor. Code editor is basically open source softwares where you can write the code for the Python language in the Python language and execute it. So very popular and easy code editor or manageable we can say for the Python is PyCharm. So you can see here, and this PyCharm, if you go to the Google, how you can get it, you can simply write PyCharm for Python download. So this will open the official websites. So this PyCharm code editor will be provided by jetbrains.com. So you have to click on this official website of PyCharm. Here you can see it has provided two options, PyCharm Professional for the professionals one, and this is not free, only 30 days trial, and after that there will be a cost. And the second, if you scroll down, you can see PyCharm Community Edition. Okay, this is free and built on open source, so we can use it. All you have to do is you have to click on downloads. Once you click on downloads, you have to see your progress bar. Here you can see I have already downloaded PyCharm Community in my desktop. So if I open you, so these are the icons that has been installed or downloaded. And after a download, you have to double click on it, these icons, and you can install it. So installation is very similar. All you have to do is click on next. Once it will be done, installation is done, setup was successful, you have to open this PyCharm code editor. Okay, so once you open it, you can see we have these options. This is the console, we can say this is the user interface of PyCharm. Here you can create a new project. You can see I have named as Hello World. It's just a name. You can give any other name. So this is, you can see the main.py. So all the Python files have extension .py. So we are going, so this is the new file. You can see on the right hand side, this is the hierarchy of your project. Okay, this is the project name. Inside that you can add multiple Python files. So we will get started with the our main project, that is hello world, the simplest one. You can see there are some of the codes written here. You can discard it, there's not a problem. This is basically only textual data and it is commented lines. Okay, so in Python we use the this this symbol, okay, to comment our lines. So let's go and create a write our code. So here we have to type hello world. Okay, so let's say if I put like this, hello world print. For printing anything, we have to use this function print, and then you have to write hello world. You can see there is a red line is coming. There is some problem with it. Okay, That means this is basically we have to enclosed in our in single quote. Okay, single or double quote, anything can work in the Python. So why we have to enclose it? We have to tell the Python that basically the data what is inside the single quote is string data type or a sequence of the characters. String is what? String is a sequence of characters. To display as it is in the terminal or the output window, we have to enclose it either in single quote or in double quote. Now we have write it here, and to run it, you have this symbol over here. You have to click here. Okay, you can see this option is coming hello world. Okay, let's test it with a single quote. So here let's test it. Now again run it. This is also executing. If we remove this single quote or double quote, run it, see invalid syntax. This is how we will create. Okay, now let's move on to the second chapter, that is Python data types. So if you can see, so Python data types on my screen, it is broadly divided into, basically let's discuss what is data types. So data types is basically category of data, okay, or the data values. It represents the value that will tell us actually what kind of the operations can be performed on the particular data. Okay, so as we know that Python is object oriented programming language, so that everything which is inside the Python actually is a class. So data types is nothing but, if we understand in detail, this data types is nothing but a classes, and the variables that holds a value of particular data types are instances or object of these classes. Okay, so if you see here, so this is broadly divided into these five categories: numeric, dictionary, boolean, set, and sequence. We will discuss each of the data type, and we will see the practical demonstration of each data types as well. So let's jump into the numeric first. And in numeric we have integer, float, and complex. Okay, so let's move to our code editor of Python. Okay, that is PyCharm we are using. And in numeric data type we have integer, float, and complex. Okay, so let's create one variable and initialize it with a value 5. So 5 is integer as we know. And here one thing you can notice, that in Python we do not need to declare the variable. In other programming language we have to declare like int a equal to 5. Okay, like that. But in Python there is no need. It is automatically will take as per the value which is on the right hand side. Automatically it will take the type. So that's why Python is very very flexible and very easy to learn. Okay, and that is also one of the reason it become very very famous. So a equal to 5, if you wanted to display this, you have to do it print a, and you have to run this file. You can see here the value 5 is coming here, but we know that 5 is an integer. But here how this, if you wanted to see like what is the data type of this value which I am going to place in this variable, so for that there is a built-in type function type, built-in function name type. Okay, so if you wanted to display that type, okay, I wanted to see the data type of this value, so you can see print type and then pass, you can see integer. And if you have noticed here, it is mentioning the int is a class, okay, not data type. So as I said earlier that Python is a object oriented, and this data types is nothing but a class, and this variable is nothing but an object of this class. So this is our integer. This is the way we will declare the integer in, and we will show the value. And here 5.2, let's say. So this is a float. If I execute it, you can see the float is coming, the value print a 5.2 is coming. Float is a number or which is having a decimal in it. And you can see if you wanted to type, need to see what is the data type of this value, you can see class float. Okay, and one thing also you have noticed that I have change the value of a multiple times. Okay, I do not need to declare another variable as b is equal to 5.2. So that means the value can be changed in the Python, the same variables. So let's take an example of complex. Okay, so here complex is a number where we have a number is divided into two parts, real and imaginary, like 2 plus 3j, 3i or 3j, whatever. So this first part is a real number and this is an imaginary number. If I wanted to see the output of this variable and the type of this variable, you can see output is 3.2.3j. It is this is output, and you can see the class is complex. Okay, so this way we have a numeric data type integer, float and complex. Okay, let's remove this. Let's move to the another this another data type, that is sequence data type. So here we have string, list and tuple. So sequence data type we have a string, list and tuple. So first come to the string. So what is string basically? String, we know that this is the collection of characters or the sequence of characters which is either enclosed as single quote. Okay, I'll mention it, sequence of characters. Okay, enclosed in single quote, double quote and even triple quote. I will show you in a bit. So string is nothing but a sequence of characters. And yes, please note one thing, that there is no character data type. There is no char data type. We don't have char. Okay, in another programming language, we have a char data type where we have only one values. Okay, like female, male. We usually store f as a female and male. So for that type of values, we use the char data type. But in Python, we do not have any char data type. We have we can say the char is a string of a length 1. Okay, so that is in Python. Let's create a variable here. Let's say a equal to, let's give my name here. So this is the string. Okay, this is single quote. Let's say I needed to display a single quote in my output. So let's say I wanted to mention as I am Mamta Rajput. Okay, so see, if you see this is not coming, this is some red line is coming. There is something is off over here. So if you wanted to display the single code in your output, you have to enclose your entire string, okay, into double quote. So that red line is now not coming over here. Okay, now let's see the third variable where I wanted to display double quotes in my output. Let's say I have to mention like I am Mamta and I wanted to display my second name in double quotes, let's say. So see, this is red line is coming. So for that we have to enclose this entire string, okay, into triple quote. So this is the 3, and now we'll display and see how the result. So in Python, string can be displayed in single quote, double quote or triple quote. Print C. Okay, let's execute this main file. There is some error. Okay, we found some error here. What is the error? Let's say the truth. Okay, let's do this. Let's comment out this and let's see, these two values are coming. Now there is a problem somewhere in the first. Is it? Mm, wait a second. Okay, you can see here it says indentation error. Everything in the Python is up to the indent. So here you can see this equal to is not as per the intent. So here if I mention like this, then it will be a correct. So you have to be careful about the indentation here. On the Rajput, still there is an error. Let's see. Okay, still see, I got what is the issue. See here, you can see one space is there. So we have put one space. So that's why it is giving an error. If you execute it, now you can see. So in Python, we have to be very careful about the spacing. Okay, so otherwise we will get indentation errors here. So I have given by mistake one space for and declaring these variables. That's why it was not taking. So now you can see this I have earlier it was like that. Okay, so this space it is the problem. This space. So I have to type the backspace to clear off that space, and now you can see these are all in the same indent. So a is equal to, you can see the output is coming as in single quote, and this is when we put it enclosed in the double quote, I'm getting the single quote in my output. If I enclose my string inside the triple quote, you can see this last name is coming in double quotes. So this way you have to enclose your string as per your requirement, either in double, single or triple quote as per your content in the string. Now coming after the string, let's discuss what is the list. Okay, so list is basically a ordered collection. Okay, string is also we can say duplicates. We can have a duplicates in the string. Okay, so I will mention one thing here. You can see MAM. So here we have A letters coming three times. Okay, so this we can consider as we can have a duplicate items inside the list, inside the string. Okay, now coming, let's remove this. Now we will discuss the list. So what is list? List is basically, we can say that it's a kind of a array. Okay, array or array of different data types, not only the string data type. Okay, or character data types. String is a array of character data types, but list is an array of different data type. Okay, and it has we can say ordered collection. That means the items in the list will be stored in sequence. Okay, and items can be of different data types that I have already mentioned, and the values can be duplicate or not, we are going to see. So let's first we will create empty list. So for that, I'll create one variable, and the list is denoted with a square bracket. Okay, so let's do this. I have created one list and there is no item inside it. It's a kind of empty list, and I'm going to print this. Let's see what it will generate. It will generate us a empty string. Okay, now I'm doing giving two values or three values. Okay, and all these items are integer data type. Let's execute it. It is giving integer kind of a, this is a kind of a array, integer array. Okay, and but we can provide a different data type. So let's say here I have passed an integer, I have passed one string also in the list. So you can see it will take the integer as well as list, as well as a string, as well as float. So it can have a multiple mixed kind of data types inside the list. Now how we can access the elements of list? Okay, that is the question. If you wanted to list, because this is ordered collection, these items are stored in a sequence. Then what we can do is, how we can access? We can access through with the help of the indexing method. So these items are stored in the form in the index wise. So if you wanted to display these value, so for that, what we need to do is list of 0, 1, 2, 3. So this value is stored in the third index. So if we execute it, you can see the value is coming. If you wanted to display first element of this list, you can mention 0th index. So whatever the element which is stored on the 0 index will be displayed here in the output. If you wanted to display, if you see your list is very huge, list so many numbers inside it, and you wanted to display the second last number, let's say, so you have to mention -2. So here if you click -2, second last is Mamta, and here if you end of the element, if you wanted to access the end of the element, then here it is called -1. So this is called the negative indexing in Python. You can you do not have to start from this from start 1 2 3 4 and it will come in the seventh index or the third index, right? So it will be a cumbersome, and here Python is giving us very flexible option that if you wanted to execute or access any element from the backend, use the negative indexing to access the backend or back elements. Okay, so this is very flexible. So we know this is array order, and here one more thing, if I create one more item, the same 2 2. Okay, and if I execute, see it is allowing us to create duplicate records. So we have in list duplicate, and this list is also a mutable. Okay, mutable means the items can be changed. Here we have these value, now I can change the definition of this list as 2 comma 3. Okay, so if I execute it, see here, now the list definition is changed. Earlier I have defined this list with these many data items, 1 2 3 4 5 6 5 data items. Then I have changed the definition of list and keep it only 2 items here, and this print the last list 2 and 3. Okay, and it gives the, so print function take the last list definition. So the definition or these items can be mutable, can be changed. So uh, I have noticed that many of the people have a problem in understanding the concept of mutable and immutable. Either mutable is can be modified or immutable can be modified, like that. So that concept, how you can learn is, might be most of the people have learned, or I'm sure that most of the people have already watched that movie, right? Mutable of a mutable movie, English movie, right? So that their actor and actresses can, can change their appearances. So they are liable to change as per their emotions or as per their environment. So mutable is nothing but a liable to change, we can say, liable to change. So list is liable to change. List is something where the items can be changed, or the definition of list can be changed. That is mutable. Mutable means liable to change. Mutable means uh, uh, connected with a mutant movie. Then you will not be get confused with what is mutable and what is immutable. Okay, so after after this list, let's move to the tuple. So if I remove this, and let's, so tuple is also array. Okay, this is also ordered. I'm not removing the definition or properties of the list here. Why? So that we can better understand and compare what is the difference between and similarity between list and tuple. So this is for we can say, I'll make it more readable for you. List, and here tuple. Okay, so for tuple is also array. It is also ordered collection of elements. Okay, it can also have a different data types, right? And a duplicate we will check, and this is immutable. Immutable, can't change, cannot be changed. Once declared, the definition of it cannot be changed. And duplicate, yes, this have a duplicate. Let me copy and paste. So you can see all other things are similar in the list and tuple, only the difference is mutable and immutable. So let's, and the way it declared. So it is declared using uh, square bracket, and it is denoted with a round bracket. And here one more thing I forgot to tell. In the list we have a built-in function list. Okay, and here we have a built-in function tuple. So I'll give an example of this built-in function list, because that is I forgot to cover. So here, let's say you have you have a string value here. Let's say Python. Okay, I have a variable. I have Python as a string, which is in this variable, and I wanted to convert it into list. For that, what I need to do is I need to use my built-in function, that is list, and pass this variable as a here. So it will treat it, or it will convert this string into the list. So why this red is coming, let's say, okay, this is small list. So Python is uh, case sensitive, so we have to be take care of it. So if I execute it, you can see this is, although this I have stored as a string, okay, but when I use this built-in function, it has converted my string into the list. You can see all the items, it is segregated as a character, and it is enclosed inside this square bracket. Okay, similarly we have a built-in function for tuple. So this list we have covered. Let's go to the tuple. So tuple, as I told, that it is denoted with a round bracket. Let's create a blank tuple. So here there is no items inside it. If I wanted to execute it, what I'm going to get it is blank tuple. If I put 1 comma 2 comma text comma 2.5 and printed. See, so this is also a ordered collection of different data types as we have in this list also. Same in the tuple. It can have a duplicate. Let's try this. 2.5 again execute it. It can have a duplicate as well. Okay, so both list and tuple can have a duplicate value and it is immutable. Sorry, 1 comma 2. So if I execute this, see, it is getting these value 1 comma 2. Okay, it is not getting value 1 comma 3 comma test. So this is cannot be changed. These values cannot be changed. And if you have a, if let's say if I have a string here, the same string, let's say Python, okay, and I wanted to convert it into tuple. So what I need to do is tuple, and we have to pass our variable which is having a string. So let's say it's gonna change it or not. So tuple, oh sorry, see syntax error, this bracket is not used, so I have to enclose it. Now I have to run the file. See here, Python. So it has segregated in all characters and enclosed in the round bracket. So this is what tuple built-in function will do. Okay, how we can access the elements in the tuple? That is the next question. So the similar way as these values are in ordered way, these characters are stored in ordered. These characters are stored in ordered way, right? In indexing. So that way we can do it. How we can do it is print uh, a, or I'll do one thing. Ding, 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 I'll declare a tuple first, or let's say 2 comma 3 comma 4.5 comma tutorial. Okay, and let's remove this for now. And if I wanted to access the first element, I need to put like this. If zeroth index, if I wanted to access the last one, so a minus 1, that is what we will get it. So here you can see at 0 index value is 2 and last index value is tutorial. So this way we will access the elements of tuple as well. So list and tuple, we can say these are similar, only the difference is list is mutable and tuple is immutable, and the list is denoted with uh, square bracket, whereas this is denoted by round bracket. Okay, and string, as we know, this is a sequence of characters. So our sequence type correct data type is also be covered, and I hope till now you have understood what is numeric, how we can play with the numeric data types in Python, and how we can play with the sequence data types in Python. Now come to set, and before that let's do Python. Let's execute. Sorry, let's see this boolean. So boolean is, as we know, that we have, it's a data type which is having a true or false values like 0 1 if else. Okay, there we will use it. So here we have two values, true and false. So if you can see, if so, you have to remember that in Python is case sensitive, it will consider true, it will consider this value as a true but not this is wrong. Okay, small t, and it will take a capital false, I mean false with a capital F letter. This will consider, Python consider false this, it will not consider this. Okay, so let me show you. If I wanted to mention type of true, sorry, print, if I wanted to show you type of true, let's remove all these to execute. Why I am removing the code? So that I will get a clear, I will show you the clear picture in the console, in the terminal window here. So you can see the class is boolean. Okay, if I mention it as true, okay, small true, you can see it is going to give me error. See, name true is not defined. Did you mean true? It is suggesting us that did you mean this true? capital T, because this is not I have in my dictionary. That is what Python is telling us. So the thing is, this true is working in Python. Okay, the similarly false. This is going to work. Okay, class is boolean, and if I put this and execute our file, see, name false is not defined. Did you mean false? So it is suggesting also. So there is nothing much to cover in the boolean. Only the thing is that we have to take care of our we have to take care of the spelling of true and false in order to it consider in the Python language. Okay, now coming to set. Okay, we are left with a set and dictionary, which is very important, and it is being widely used. So set, you can say set is basically unordered collection. First thing, till now we have discussed the sequence. There we have a ordered collection in all string, list and tuple. Now set is something where we have unordered collection of elements. Okay, there is no sequencing of elements. All the elements inside the set can be stored in any of the indexes. Okay, so that's why it is unordered collection. And since it is unordered collection, that's why it is iterable. Iterable means we can iterate it from first index to second index, like that. We have to loop through. We can loop through, and we have to loop through to access the elements. Why? Because the elements is not staying in the one index. It is unordered collection. We don't know in the backend it is going to, the first element is going to stored in the zeroth index, or second element is going to stored in the first index, like that. So it is unordered collection, first thing. Second, it is iterable. Third, it is a mutable. Okay, mutable means mutant movie means liable to change. So the items is inside the set can be changed, but it has no duplicate. So you can see here in string, list and tuple, in all of these data types, we can have a duplicate values, but in set we do not have a duplicate value. It will not allow duplicate values. And set can be used, can be created with the help of set function. So you can see we have list function, tuple function and set function. Okay, now let's demonstrate. Let's create a one variable and create a set. Did I cover tuple? Did I cover tuple? Oh, tuple, yeah, sorry. So here we will going to create a set. So set will be created in a curly bracket. 1, comma 2. Let's create a, okay, what happened? Uh, let's create an empty set first. Okay, and display it to see what is happening. See, it is, what is this bool? Okay, let me remove this so that we will have only. So here you can see we have an empty set. If I'm going to create one variable tutorial, now execute it. See here we have a set of unordered collection, but the items can be of different data type, and here four values we have, and we can print it. Now if I'm, you can see it is no duplicates are allowed. Let's test it here. So if you pass the value 2, if I execute it, here you can see it did not give an error, but it will take only one value out of this two duplicate value to be showed in the output or the terminals. Okay, you can see here 1 2 3 tutorial. It has not showed the second value. Fine. So it has no duplicate. It will remove the duplicates from your list of the items and display only the distinct data items. Let's say if you have created one list and you wanted to change it into the set, then how you can do it? So let's create one list, 1 comma, comma 3. Let's make it a simple list here, and I wanted to convert it into a set. So I have to pass this you know set data type and pass this variable to it. Let's execute it. See here, although I have passed a list data type, okay, in a variable, and using the set set built-in function, it has converted into the set. So set is denoted in the curly bracket, you can see here. So it has changed the items into the set. Okay, now let's say I will create a new set, 2 comma 4 3 comma 5 comma 2.4 comma, let's say not 2.4 or 5. Okay, and let's say here okay. So this is my another set, and I wanted to access an element here. So how you can access an element? Because this is, since this is unordered collection, we cannot go by index. Okay, we cannot choose the access the elements through indexing. So how we can do it? So now there are two ways by which we can access the elements of set. So how we can do it? So first is we can do it through loop. As it is, we have already mentioned it is iterable, right? So this set is iterable. So we can use the loop functionality to iterate through the items and access it. Okay. And second is through keyword. Through keyword. If you know the keyword, you can use that keyword and you will get the items. So first, how we can do it? For I in, you have to give items for I in items. Then we have to display. Then we have to display print I. For display we are using the print function I comma, and like that we have to give some space, and that's it. That is what is needed. If you execute it, you can see here this first line is print. The second line you can see 2.5 3 4 5 Mamta. There is a space. Why? Because I have used this. And if you see here, although I have declared 3 in the first place, 4th in the second place, the output is giving me as 2.5 in the first place, 3 in the second place. This means these items are stored in the unordered fashion. So this way we will, but through the loop it will display all the items. But if we have a requirement, then we have to access only the particular item in the set. In that case, we have to go to the second option, that is through the keyword. So how we can do it? That is also like print. Okay, and let's say I wanted this keyword to be displayed. I wanted this in B. Okay, because the variable the list, I mean this, not list, sorry, this set is stored in the B. So I wanted print Mamta, which is present in this. So if I execute it, okay, so single quote, unintended, see here, unintended does not match an outer intent. Okay, so it's not about code, it's about intent. So okay, remove this intent space, execute here. See this, it's giving a Mamta and it is giving a value true. So this way you can access through the elements in the set. Now coming to the last data type, that is dictionary. Okay, dictionary is a special data type in Python. This is completely different, we can say. So let's remove all this so that I can get the clear thing in the terminal window. So we have covered set. Now coming to dictionary. So dictionary, we can say this is also an unordered collection. First of all, let's type in the features unordered collection. Okay, and this is unordered, this is unordered collections, and the why it is completely different, because it, the way it holds the values inside it, it holds the values in the form of key value pair. Key value pair. So for the values are stored with the help of the keys associated with it, and these keys are unique for each of the in each of the pair. So keys are always unique, we can say. So what we can say, that each key is separated by a comma. Each key separated by comma, whereas this key value is separated, key value is separated by colon. Okay, how the elements I will and it is denoted items is denoted inside curly bracket as the items in the set, and it is also have a built-in function that is dictionary. So let's say I have a variable and I'm going to create a dictionary with which will hold the key value pair. So let's say first key is name and I will give it as name as Mamta, and if I give the second as a skill, I will give as Python, just a reference. Okay, if I give value 1 comma uh, let's say tutorial, so here just focus on this thing. I'll make it a little bit. So here you can see this is one key value, okay, this is another key value pair, and this is third key value. So total we have a three pair. First key value, the value Mamta have a key associated. So a key name, the thing is Mamta, if I wanted to execute or wanted to access this value, I can access through this key because this key must be unique. I cannot create one more pair with the same key. Let's say like this, and I mention, sorry, this single quote, and I mention like here Priya. Okay, let's say. So here you can see this is coming a line over here, warning line we can say. So what is happening here? See, the keys cannot be duplicated. That also we can mention here. Keys cannot be duplicated. Okay, all the value can be duplicated. So here, if I give as values can be duplicated. So let's say last name. So keys are not, but here values are same. So this will work. If you got confused, let's make it simple first. So as of now, you can see this is three key value pair. Okay, if you wanted to display it, excuse me, I want to do it, I have to do print A. Fine. So here you can see this key value pairs are coming. Okay, all my dictionary is coming here. Fine. Now, if you wanted to create empty, that is also done. Let's say if you wanted to create empty dictionary to see how it looks like, so that you also can do it. Here you can see, here we have a key value pair and here we have a empty dictionary. Okay, and dictionary with a mixed values, if you wanted to make it little bit more complicated and create a dictionary with a mixed values, how mixed values like uh, let's let's keep this to one key value pair, same. Okay, now coming second value pair, let's say 1 colon, and here the value would be 1 comma 2. This is a list. Okay, so I have this, then we have a second key value pair like 3 comma 4 comma 5. So if you see here, what is happening here, this is a one key value, this is another key value pair, and this is a third key value pair. So this key is having a list as a value, this key too is having another value which is list. So if you wanted to display this is also going to work. So this is having a mixed key value. You can see here second and first. Now, one more thing. If you wanted to use if you have a different data type and you wanted to convert it into the dictionary, that is also be possible using the dictionary built-in function. So let's say I have one variable which is having a value list. Okay, or we can say we can do one thing. We can print directly, or we can how we can do it is we can change it into the dictionary is, let's create one variable dict, and we will use this dictionary method. Okay, and here we will pass our value as 1 comma colon, sorry, 1 colon, this is first value key value pair, and here we can provide a list 2 comma 3 comma 4. So what is happening now? Here you can see I'll create a variable. I've created a variable, and this variable, this is I'm changing this complete value. Okay, this complete set. Okay, this is we can say set, and this is changing into the dictionary. So how we can do it is, let's print it and let's execute it. You can see this is converting into the dictionary 1 Mamta 2 and comma 3. Okay, now the values, as I mentioned earlier, the values keys cannot be duplicated. If I try to execute a key with a duplicate values, let's say here this key is represented, this value is represented by key 2. Okay, and if I'm going to give this as well as 2, so what is happening? Let's remove this, or we can comment it out. Just a second, and if you execute it, you can see, let's say let's remove this as well, or let's execute. See what happened, it did not give an error, but it will display only, it has displayed only the one value. Okay, with a one key, like I mean 2, it has not displayed both of the key value pair. Why? Because it has treated 2 as a unique key. Okay, now if I make it as a 3, and I will give you a one more value. So value can be changed, but key cannot be changed, right? That makes sense, right? Otherwise, what is the meaning of a key? Key, as a name says, that it's a unique. So if I make it as a 4, so what happened? This values is duplicating 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So 3, 4, 5 is also is represented by 3 key also, and this 3, 4, 1, I mean this list is also represented by 4. So that is fine. If you execute it, it is fine. It is taking both of it, both key value pair. But the moment you make it as a 3, okay, that means it is not it is display either one of it. Okay, it will take this as a 1 key value pair. That is the way you can got the value. Okay, now coming to how you can access the values, or how you can access the values inside the dictionary. So that is very easy, because the value is stored in the key value pair. So you have a keys, right? You have to mention the key to get the values associated with it. So what, how you can do it? Print a of, and you have to pass the key here. So let's say I pass the key name. So let's execute. Perhaps you forgot invalid where I have comma I, and let's remove this a of this. Let's, oh, okay, got it. Here it is the problem. This comma was not there. Let's remove this and keep it simple. So we have three key value pairs, and I wanted to access the data value Mamta. So for that I need to mention the keyword or the key which is associated with this data value. So if I give key as a name, I mean name here as a key, so I'm getting the value Mamta here. If I want to get a value of list, I wanted to give the, I wanted to see this list as an output. Oh sorry, Control Z. Okay, it is not happening. Okay, here, so for that what you need to do is you have to just provide the key here. It is not an index. Okay, do not confuse, this is not an index, this is key. So if I execute here, see it is giving me the value, data value associated with this key. If I mention a 3 here, then it will give a 345. I hope you understood all the data types. Okay, so we have covered integer, float, complex. In sequence we have a string, list and couple, and set, this we have, and dictionary and boolean. So dictionary is key value pair. Hi, so in this chapter we are going to understand what are the operators in Python. Okay, so operators are generally used to perform the operations on values and variables. Operations like logical operations, arithmetic operations, comparison operations. So there are a lot of operations available in the Python. So first understand, let's take all the kind of operations one by one. So first is arithmetic operations. You can see here First, I'm taking arithmetic operations is used to perform the arithmetic kind of operations. Arithmetic kind means plus, minus, or additions, division, subtraction, multiplication, okay, modulus. So these are the arithmetic operations. So here I'm taking an example, x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 4. I'm assigning these values to two variables, and this is addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, row division, and modulus. So this, if I try to execute this, I will cover this. What is this? See, this is a float division and this is basically a floor division. So I'm going to tell you what is the difference between this. So if you execute it, most probably I will. So here you can see, if you scroll, if you see the terminal, so first is 2 plus 4. This is, it is giving me output as a 6. You can see here. Okay. Then second is x into or multiply by y, that is 8. 2 into 4. Then x 2 minus 4 is minus 2. 2 divided by 4, that is a division. It's giving me a 0.5. Okay. And 2 floor division y, that is giving me a 0 here, and this modulus x modulus y, that is giving the remainder. So what is the remainder? It's a 2. Now if you see here, I'm so what is the difference between 1 slash and double slash? So one slash is giving you float division and this will give you the floor division. So it is round of your values and give the only floor value. So here if I take the value x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 5.5. So here you can see the float value, it is giving me all the values after the decimal 2.1888. So this is a float division if you use the one slash. But here you can see if you use the float division, so it is rounded off and it's giving only the 2.0. It's not give all the numbers after the division. So that is called the float division. And yes, in Python, we have a precedence of arithmetic operations. Let's suppose you have an equation where you have a multiplication, division, okay, and modulus and subtraction, everything in the one equation. How you can perform, how Python will come to know like which operation I need to perform first and which operation I have to perform after that arithmetic operations. So there is a precedence of the arithmetic operations, okay, in Python. So that is, you can learn or you can understand, like this is a shortcut PEMDAS we can say. So first is parenthesis, exponential, multiplication, division, addition and subtraction. So this is the precedence of arithmetic operators. Okay. Now second kind of is comparison. So let's see. So comparison operators in Python. So comparison operators, like we have equal, we can say greater than, okay, less than. I believe that everybody know these comparison operators. Then then we have equal to, okay, then not equal to. I'm just giving the symbols of this comparison operator which is being used to compare the two values. So greater than, okay, greater than, less than, double equal to, not equal to. Then we would have greater than equal to, then we would have less than equal to, okay. Then we have equal to as an assignment and double equal to as a comparison, which we have already mentioned here, okay. So I'm giving you a example, a very simple example. If I'll take a value a, variable 13, I'll give the value 13 to the variable b. Let's take the variable b, okay, and give the value as a 2. And now I wanted to compare these two value. So if I can ask a is greater than b, so this will compare and return the result. So if I execute it, so it is giving me a true. So this is 13 is greater than 12. Okay, so that's why it is giving me, let's say if I use the less than equal to, less than not equal to, so it is giving me a false. So this is correct, okay. So this is nothing but a comparison operators. Okay, next we come to logical operators. So logical operators means this perform the logical and, this perform logical, we can say. You must have learned about the logical and, what is logical and, logical or logical not. Okay, so these are the three operations which will be performed by the logical operators, and it is used actually to combine the conditional statements. When you have a conditional, let's suppose if this condition is true, then execute this line of code. If this condition is true, to combine the conditions. If you have two conditions and you wanted to execute the piece of code only when both of this condition is satisfied, in, in that scenario, we will use the logical operators. Okay, let's say I'll take a variable, okay, and give this value as I mean true, okay, and I have taken another variable and its value is false, okay, and I wanted to execute a. So this condition, this will print only if both the conditions will be true. So let's say if a and or sorry. So here, as I mentioned earlier, that Python is a case sensitive. Okay, so make sure that you use the small a and d, small or, not capital A and D. I have written it here only just for the better visibility. But in the Python, the keywords small a and d and small or. So let's say and not a. So what I'm trying to do here, so I have these two variables, okay, I'm giving the values true and false, and I'm trying to print this value if both the conditions are true, if both the a and b are true. So and will make sure that both values will be correct only. If not, then it will display the false. If any of the value of these variables a or b is true, then return the true. Okay, not a, it will give the reverse value of whatever you have in the variable. So let me execute it and see here the last three output you can see, because these are the last three print. So you can see the first is false because a is true and b is false. Okay, but both is not true, so that's why this condition is not satisfied, and we are getting a false. Okay, similarly a or b, yes, one of it is true, so that's why we are getting true. Not a means a is true, so that's why we are giving a false, we are getting a value false. So these are logical operators, we can say. Okay, now coming to the next operators that we have in our list is assignment. So assignment is very easy, and as the name suggests, it is used to assign the values. Okay, so what assignment operators, like we have equal to, as we already know that equal to is only the assignment operators, but how we can play around with the assignment operators in Python. So let's take an example which will give you a clear idea what I'm trying to say. So let's say if I have a value 10 in the variable a, and I'm going to assign the value of a into the another variable b. So this is called a assignment. We are assigning the variable value to the b. If I try to execute, so what try to print the value, what is the value in the b, so it will give me a value 10. Why? Because the a is storing a value 10. If I execute it, you can see the value 10 is coming. Now let's say here, if I do this, see, do you know what I did it here? So this is nothing but b equal to b plus a. Okay, so this is a shortcut of doing this assignment. Now if I try to execute it, okay, and to see what the value it's gonna print, so it is giving me a 20. How it is? Because 10 plus 10, the value b is the variable b is having 10, and already a is having a 10. So 10 plus 10 is equal to 20. Let's say the same thing, if I mention like the same thing, we can do it like minus equal to a. So this is nothing but a b minus a. Okay, so I'm giving you this an idea. This is a shortcut. If I try to print it, you can see the value we are getting a 0. Okay, similarly we can have the multiplication also. So we have a shortcut for the multiplication as well. So instead of minus, we can mention as a asterisk. So this is nothing but a b equal to b asterisk a. So if we execute it, now you can see the value is 100. Why? Because 10 multiplied by 10 is equal to 100. Okay. So this way we can use the assignment operators. So next we have, we can say identity operators. That is also very important. Identity operators in Python. So actually, this is, we have only two keywords which we used uh, to perform the identity operators, that is, okay, and I'll say is and is not. So these are the two. I will put it in the code to make it more visible for you. So this is two keywords which is being used to perform the identity operators in Python. I will tell you with the help of example. So basically, both are, these are used to check if the values are located in the same memory location or not. Okay, let's say we have a value 20 in the variable a. Okay, and we have value 20, the same value, or we can say, I will tell, but to better understand, let's say it's make it simple. Value 10 is assigned in the variable A, 20 is assigned in the variable B. Okay. If I assign a variable A into the C, so what will happen if I wanted to print value C? So what will happen? So see, what happened here is 10 is assigned in, I mean, in this case, if you see the C, both C variable and A variable is pointing to the same data, that is 10, and it is placed, they are pointed to the same memory location where the value 10 is placed. Okay, so these are identity. You can see here the value 10 is placed. Okay, see the last print output, that is 10. So 10 means it is C and A both is pointing to the same location. Okay, so how we can, if I wanted to check A is C, so is, you can see is identity. So if I wanted to see this, if this is true or not, so if I wanted to execute, you can see true. So what this sentence say, the is a keyword, it's an identity operator, and it is asking with whether variable A and C is pointing to the same memory location where the value 10 is present. So A is C, yes, this is true, A is C, because A is also pointing to the memory location where 10 is present, and C is also pointing to the memory location where 10 is present. Okay, similarly, we can use the another keyword, A is not C, or we can see B, because B is 20. So let's say what we will expect that true here also, because A is actually not B. B is pointed to some other memory location and A is pointed to some other memory location. Okay. So that is what, if we mention here C, so we will get false. See, we will get false here, because A is not C. A and C is equal. Equal as in they are both variables point to the same memory, same part of the memory. Okay, so this is the identity operator. So we have two keywords, is and is not, in identity operators in Python. The last we can cover is membership operators. That is also very important in Python. So membership operators, here also we have two keyword, in and, I will take, sorry, I'll say not in. So this is basically membership. So it is, as the name says, it is used to find the members which is present in the sequence. So that's called membership operators, that is used to test whether a value or a variable present in the sequence, or the value or variables or the members are present in the list or in the sequence. Okay, so here we have a in and not in. So if I, let's take an example again, a is equal to 10, let's keep it, b is equal to 20. Okay, and let's say we have one list, and here we have a 2 comma 3 comma 20 comma, let's give some random values here to understand, okay, what I'm trying to say, how we can use the membership operators. So here we use if a in this list, then what we need to do, so make sure in the Python everything intent is very important. Okay, so if, did you notice that I, when I print after colon, when I hit enter, so this will come to this place, I mean the cursor will not point to this place, but it will point to this place. So indentation in the Python is very important. Okay, so here if I wanted to print, okay, so I'll print like a is present in list, else let's say she's not, it's not. So if you use this, else, and here we need to print A is not present. So I have write a very simple, we can say very small code here, a small project. Okay. So here you can see A is 10, B is 20. I have provided a list here. If A in list, print A is in list. If not, A is not present in the list. So if you try to execute it, what this is the output. You can see A is not present in the list. See, because we do not have a value 10 inside it. Okay, if I use B here instead of A variable, okay, and change this message also in the print, and if I try to execute it, this time see the B is present. So this code is executed because the controller in the Python read it and it used this in keyword as a membership operator and check whether this value B, the 20, is present in the list or not. If yes, then it will print this value. Okay, so this is we have covered the most of the operators. I hope you like this. Next, we will understand what are the how we can take the input from the user in Python. Hi, in this chapter we are going to learn how we can take the inputs from the user. So in Python, basically developers often need to take the inputs from the users. Okay, so in that case, how we can take it up? So that's we are going to learn in this session. So the Python uses the inbuilt function input. If you can see here, input. Okay. So I'll tell, let's understand it with the help of the example. So let's say I have a variable name and I wanted a name to be as an input. I wanted the name to be provided by the user. For that, I have to provide a inbuilt function input, and it should be in the small letters as the Python is case sensitive. So here you can mention enter your name. Okay, and that's it. You have to press print name, whatever you wait for the name to be input by the user, and then you have to press print it. So let's execute it. See, it is asking for the name to be entered by the user. So here it is in the terminal, you have to provide your name. Let's say I provided, and when I hit enter, the name is printed over here. But you see the name, it is asking in the same line. If you want it to be in the next line, so what you can do, you have to add a new line character here. Just that's it. If you see here, now even if I click here, it is taking the input from the next line. So here when I as a user I have input, I have given the name as an input, hit enter. Now the output is coming as the same name. Okay, so let's suppose if I talk about and if you wanted to by default in Python, whatever the input which we are getting from the user, that is of the types string. Okay, so if you wanted to see what is the type of this input which which I am getting from the user, you can see the type of name. If you execute it, here you can see if I give my name here and if I execute, you can see output is coming as the same which has been provided by the user, and the class is str. Even if you have a requirement to get the numbers from the user, you can see that that numbers is also the type of the number is also a string in the backend. So let me demonstrate that. So here let me see, I want number to be entered by the user. Enter num1. Okay, let's say, and I wanted it that's fine, I wanted in the same line. And if I wanted to print this num1, and I wanted to see what is the type also of num1, so let's execute it to see. Okay, it's asking for the name because we have this here. Okay, let's do it quickly. Class str. Now it is asking, the second is asking for the enter num1. So it is asking for the enter num1. So let me give the number 2. If I execute, you can see the class is still str, although I have provided, the user has provided the number 2. Okay, so this is the problem if you wanted to sum the two values. Let's say if I have these values, if I have a number 2 and I have number 3 and I wanted a sum of number 1 plus num 2, and let me this rename it as number 2, and here also number 2. Let me remove this so that we have a clean code. So let me demonstrate it, how the type string will work with a integer number. So here you can see, if I try to do this and if I wanted to get the value what I am having in number 3, okay, if I execute it, so what I am trying to do is, I have a number 1, I wanted a first number to be entered, the class is str, okay, and the second number also I wanted to get it added by or provided by the user. I choose the value 3. You can see the summation, you can see it's 2 3, although the 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, but it is giving 2 3. That means it is concatenating. It is by from the backend it is taking as a string str class, so that's why it is concatenating it. Yeah, although it is not given the any error, but it is giving the concatenate. So how we can do it? If you say that let's typecast it over here, okay, and that will resolve a problem. So that will not resolve a problem, but let me show you. Still this will not solve a problem. See, still it is answer is 23. It is concatenating. So typecasting over here, num1, num2 will not is not the solution. So what we can do? So at that time of taking an input from the user itself, that time we can typecast the values. So let's say I wanted the input, whatever the input provided by the user, let's typecast over that time. So here you can see all I have to do is enclose this entire input into the typecast function end. Okay, because I wanted to convert it into int, so I use the int. If I wanted have a requirement to convert into float, I would have used the float. Okay, so let's change it into int. Now I have typecasted both inputs as an integer, and now I'm trying to see what is the type, as well as I wanted to perform an addition operation. Let's see what is the result this time. So first number 2, you can see the change class is now changed from str to int. Now it is taking as an int because we have typecast the input. Now the second variable is 3, and you can see it is giving the output as a 5. 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. So that way you have to typecast the input, if you, because everything whatever the input you got it from the user, that is considered in the Python as a string. Okay, so this way, and you can get the inputs from the user. Now coming to how this is something we have learned about, how we can get the input from the user, single inputs. But let's say if we have a requirement, we wanted to take the multiple inputs from the user. In that case, how we can do it? There are two ways Python provides us, that is split function and the list comprehension. Okay, using the split function we can get the multiple inputs from the user, and also the list. So list comprehension is a little bit advanced, but I would like to cover it. If you okay, it's fine. So let first we will cover the split function. So this function is basically helps in generating the multiple inputs from the user. Basically what it does is it breaks the given input by specified separator. Okay, so if you see here, this is the parenthesis, inside that we can provide the separator, and using that separator it will separate the inputs which we got from the users. But in case when there is no input from where is no parameters or separator in the split function, in that case by default it will take the white space or the blank space as a separator. Okay, so if you wanted to see what is a syntax, if I told you about that, so it would be like, first you have to provide the input function. Okay, then you have to split it down, whatever the input you got it from the user, you have to split it down, and here you have to provide first parameter as a separator, and second would be the maximum limit. Okay, maximum split, how you can do it. So this is a syntax. Let me demonstrate it with the help of example. So let's say I wanted to take the two inputs from the user and wanted to save it into two variables. So I take the two variables x comma y equal to, I wanted to take the input from the user, so I use the input function, and here I type enter the or enter two values. Let's keep it simple like this. If you wanted to get the values in new line, you can use it, but I will keep it simple here, and I make a one space here. Now all you have to do it, you have to use the split function. So here you can see when I click on you can see here next split self separator. So here we will use, as of now we will not use any separator, nothing. So if I wanted to print this, okay, so how you can print this? First, let's say first number, I just wanted to make, and here I need to comma and x. So same thing, I need to print the second number, okay, and here y. So let me delete this so that we will get a clear picture. Here you can see, if you try to run this, so it's asking me for two variables. So if I press 2, okay, and then if I enter, press 3 and hit enter, first number equal to 2 and second number is 3. So this way you will get the two values in the one line only. You can see 2 space 3. So this way we can get the two values or three values. Let's suppose if you wanted one more values to get it right. So here let me write three values, okay, and here let me print one more third, let's say third number, and let me print it as z, okay. And if you wanted to run, so here you can see 2 3 4, you can see first number 2 3 4. So this way you can get the multiple values, from the users. But yes, this is, I have hard coded three values, four values, right? But what if you wanted a multiple values, right? I mean instead of hard coding it like three values, four values, how you can pass the multiple? See, to get the multiple values, what will happen is you have to typecast it into the list. Okay, so what we can do here, let's create one variable lst. Okay, and let's say here we have input, and we can write it here like enter multiple values. So I would like to take the multiple values from the user, multiple, sorry for my spelling mistake, multiple, okay, multiple values, and I'll give one space over here, okay, after colon and this double quote, and after that I have to use the split, as we know. And after that what we need to do, because we need this value, first we will typecast it into int. So enclose this entire input inside the int function, and after that you have to change it into the list. So for that you have to map it first. Okay, so enclosed everything inside the map function, and then enclosed everything inside the list function, list. Okay, so here enclose everything inside the list. So this is the way you can get the multiple values and convert it into the list. So let me try to print this value lst, and before that we can write list of input numbers, okay, and here we will put lst. It's okay, keep it three values. Okay, here is the problem. See, lst is not defined. Did you mean list? Oh, as I said you, right, lst is not small, it's not capital letter, it's a small letter, so we have to be very very sure about it. So see, now it turned into the blue. When I use this capital L, it was not turned into the blue, it is like red line. I can see over here there is an error, that means. So if I turn it, I try to execute it one more time. Again we have to three numbers, enter the multiple values. See, now we need to add multiple values, and if I execute, the int argument must be string, a byte like object, or a real number, not list. So we have a problem here. What it is saying, a int argument must be a string. Let's try to execute one more time. Let me remove it to simplify this. Let's execute one more time. enter the multiple values and split. There is something issue. Okay, so now the issue resolved. The problem was I have used the space between the numbers and this colon. So if I remove this space, if I try to execute it one more time, it is asking me the multiple values. And if I hit enter, it is giving me all the values in the form of list. You can see 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is coming in the form of the list. So you can ask the multiple values to be added by the user, to be provided by the user, split it down with the space. And as we have not provided a separator, so it will take a space as a separator, and then it convert into the integer, and then it will convert into the complete list. So this way you can get the multiple inputs from the user with the help of split function. So okay, and with the help of split function, and it into the list. Okay, sorry for that. Now coming to the list comprehension. So split function we know. Now coming to the, this is a little bit advanced and very elegant way to provide to get the multiple values from the users. Okay, so this is something, create a list. This will create a list in the Python in run. We can create a list just like mathematical statements we have in one line only. Okay, so list comprehension, let me click comprehension. Using comprehension, we will take the multiple inputs. How we can do it? Let's give one error, one space here. So how we can get it? Let's suppose as we did earlier, let's mention two variables, x comma y, and we have to be, you can say int x for x in, and here you have to ask for input, enter two values, let's say, and here give the colon, give one space here. Okay, and after input you have to split it down with a split, with a blank separator, and there we go. So we have first number as first we can say number x, and here the second would be. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to explain it a little bit. Let me write it down a code quickly. So see, what I'm doing here is, it is actually what I'm doing is, I'm asking a two values, split it down with a separator, and I'm asking the values for x. Okay, convert it into, so I need the values, okay, for x, and convert it into, typecast it into integer values, and in the form of list. So this is nothing but a list. You can see everything, all the code is enclosed inside the list. So if I tries to run it, let me what we can do, let me comment it out, comment this code as well. I want this code to be execute only. So here you can see two values, so let's say 2 and 5, and if I execute, you can see number x 4 and number 5 is stored into the variable y. So here you can see the values which I got it from the user is in the form of the list, okay, 4 and 5, and for each of the values which we got from the user, okay, convert it into the integer data type and then print it. So this is the way we have to do it. Let's suppose here I have mentioned the two values, right? Similarly you can mention the three variables also, let's say here, and you can mention here 3. Okay, similarly as we did in the split, here you can mention v. If you execute it one more time, so the same thing happen, you can see 3, 5, 6. So it took the values in the form of the list from the user, okay, converted into the list, and then iterated from the list and printed one by one. So this is the way we have to read it. Let's suppose if you wanted to get the multiple values, okay, with the from the user, and use the list comprehension to read the data. So how we can do it? Same, you have to just, for that only you have one variable, for for the to get the multiple values, because we are going to iterate it, right? So only one variable is required. Keep everything inside the list. Wanted to change it into data type for x in, in the input which I'm going to get it from the user. So we can mention enter multiple values. So user is gonna put the multiple values, then I'm going to iterate it. Okay, then I'm going to iterate, convert it into data type, integer data type, and iterate it one by one, and I'm going to print this as x here. So let me execute this. The very first it is asking for the this one, so let's do it. And now you can see enter multiple value. If I enter multiple values, see it is coming in the form of 2 4 5 6 7 8. So you can see here you have this, you have to typecast the value, this the same thing. And here what you have to do, you have to use entire code inside the list comprehension. So there is a difference between the both, there are multiple ways of writing a code. So here you can see, here what you did is you enter, get the multiple values and convert it into int, map it, and then enclosed inside the list. Here what we did, we used the list comprehension, and this code is little bit more elegant and cleaner way to write a code. So most of the advanced developers use this list comprehension process to get the multiple values from the user. But this is also very much good. So there is no problem to use this code as well to get the multiple values. So I hope you like this. Thank you. Hi all. So in this chapter, we are going to learn how we can handle the exceptions in the Python. Okay. So we have explored till so far in the basic Python codes. Okay. Now it's time to understand how we can handle the exceptions or errors, for that matter, what we get it in the Python. So we use the three keywords to handle the exception: try, except, and finally. So basically in all of the programming language we have try, catch, block, but here in Python we have a try, except, and finally blocks. So how we can do it, let's I'll give you an example, and before that let's understand what kind of the, when we say the error in Python, what kind of errors. So basically in errors in Python can be of two types: a syntactical error or an exception. So error is basically a problem in the program which you have written, due to which the program stop the execution of the program. But exception will not stop the execution, but it will change the direction of your flow, or change the normal behavior of your program. It will raise when some internal events occur, but it will not stop the execution of the program. So that is the small difference between the error and exception. So we can have multiple type of exceptions like syntactical error, type error, name error, divide by zero error, key error, out of range error. So these many exceptions we can have. So all these type of exception, how we can handle in our code. So that we are going to explore. So let's demonstrate with an example. You can see on my screen I have opened the PyCharm as a code editor for the Python. Just in case if you have not seen all the videos, how we can download and open the PyCharm editor, you can go ahead and see the chapter 1 to get the more details. So here I'm going come back to the same session. So here I have declare a variable a and put the value 10 to it, and I have declared a variable b, and I'm trying to divide it with a 0. So if I try to print this value b, so what kind of error we are going to get, what is the default behavior, you can see this line, this file. Okay, we got an error here, and it is saying divide, zero division error, division by zero, which is not allowed, right? So this type of error, how we can it throws an error, so how we can catch it? So for that we have to use the try and except block. So what we can do is, so we can keep the statements on the entire code, or the code in the try block. Okay, so this as the syntax to do this, we have a try block, and wherever you feel this is going to uh, give me an error, so that to handle this, so I mean these two code can have, I have to keep it in the try block, and after that I have to keep it here except, and we have to print it. So let's say what, now what we are going to get it. Okay, So this here we can mention, if you know, then we can mention the zero division error, or if you not mention, then that is also fine. So let's see how we can, here you can mention the value, or you can mention the customized error, like error division by error, or Python will not allow, Python won't allow, you know, divide by zero, like that you can mention. So now you, if you execute it, see here, Python won't allow divide by zero. So we did not get the red lines over here. We did, our code will not break here. It will give a customized error which we have added here. So this error or exception division, zero division error has been caught, and it has been handled by the except block. So we keep all the statements what we have in the code in the try block, and we can use, except keyword to handle the exception. So let's say, let's take on one more example. Okay, if I take a variable a, and this is nothing but a list. Let me provide 1 comma 3 comma 5. Okay, this is a kind of a list we have in the variable a, and if I wanted to print it, okay, so what I wanted to do, I have to keep this, try, or I'll execute, copy this here, and here I'll print, sorry, here let me try to, access the second variable. So second element I wanted to access. So here I will mention as colon, and here, if you know, right, how we can access the elements, I have told you in the previous sections, right, in the so it is all on index base. So first, so second element is placed on the first index of array. So this gonna print the value. Let's say if we have, I wanted to print fourth element which is not there even in this list. So that means definitely this code is gonna break. Okay, so I wanted to break this code to see how we can handle that. So let's say here I wanted to access the fourth element. So this complete code I have put it in the try, and if any kind of exception came, so I wanted to, hold it in the, or handle it in the exception block. So here I am going to print it like out of index or something like that, out of range error. So this we can, and here there would not be a space between except and colon. So if you try to execute it, so here you can see the second element, it gonna display us as a 4, which is correct, and fourth element, it it did not break the program, although it give to the controller will go to the accept block and print out of range. Just in case if I have not used this try accept block, okay, let's, okay, remove this. Let's remove this accept and try, and see how the Python will behave. So if I execute it, see this program got crashed. Okay, indentation error, unexpected. Okay, this is one of the error. If you see here, now if you wanted to execute, there's lot of space, because see, we when we use the try catch block or try or reset block, sorry, so we can use the indent, but right, because we have removed the try and accept, so it requires no indentation. So I have removed this. Now you can see, now I'm getting the correct error, actually list index out of range. This is what we are supposed to get it if we will not use the try and accept block. Okay, I hope you understood like how we can use it. Now just in case if we wanted to use the else statement, how we can use the try with else. Okay, so Python, you can also use the else clause in the try accept block, which must be present after the accept block. Okay, so let's say here I keep it again as a try, and this will, I will keep it as accept and print, and here else. So let's say if is there is if there is no error, then print all elements are fine. Let's say it's just a random. If you execute it, see, it is giving indentation error. Why? Because now I have added try and accept and else block, and it is not the Python is not able to read the second line because it is expecting the second line to be having one intent. So here we have giving this as space. I execute it, expected colon. Okay. So here we have to provide colon, space, colon. See here. So we have here we have to provide one space between except and colon. So here you can see we have an issue here in this try block. That's why the controller will go to the except block and it write it down here out of range. Let's suppose if, and due to which, because the controller went to the except block, that's why it did not go to the else block. So else block will only execute if there is no error in the try block. Okay, now to demonstrate it, let me remove this line. Okay, and let me execute it again to see what's gonna help here, or what's gonna display here. You can see the second element, it is giving us the correct, and now this time there is no error into the try block. So controller will go directly to the else and it displayed all elements are fine. So by this way we can use the else block also when we are using the try and except. So we discussed try, except. Now finally block is basically the something that is going to always execute. So I will add the finally here in the same, you know, code. So this is something we can mention print. I'm going to execute always. I am I am going to execute always. So this is something this block will execute whether it has an error or not error. So let me execute if it is not having an error, so it's going to display or not. See, I'm going to execute always. So in case of no error, the finally block execute. Let's put error again. The same error, let's put it. Fourth element. And let's say this time how the controller will go. Fourth element would be placed on the third index, and this time let's execute it to see the second element fourth out of range. It will go to the except block, but it will not go to the else block, and finally is always executed. See, I'm going to execute always, so it always executed. So this is the way you can use try, except, else, and finally. So now here if you have to mention, the specific error, so here you can have, if you type here index error, see, you can get index error, you can have name error, I think you can have division error, so zero division error. So type of exception also you can display here. You can categorize your exception and you can use that exception in the except block. Thank you.
Hi friends. So today in this chapter, now we are going to understand how we can do the file handling in Python. Okay, so file handling is actually a very powerful tool that can be used to perform the wide range of operations over the file. Okay, like any other programming languages, Python too supports file handling and allows users to create new file, okay, to read the data or content of the file, to write a content into the file, or to append the data into the existing file. So let's get started. If you can see on my screen, I have opened the editor, Python editor, PyCharm. So before even creating or reading the data from the file, the first thing we need to understand is the one built-in function, that is open function. Okay, so let's understand what is the built-in function. What is this open built-in function? So before creating or writing anything into the file, first we have to open that file. For that, Python has given us the function that is open function. So we always have to open the file before we read it, write it, append it, delete it, anything. So that is the open file. So let's first understand how we can read the file. So for that we have to first take a file. So we should have a file which we are going to read. So I have here, you can see a Python file, and here we have a python.txt. First thing, we can create a new file also. Let's go to the desktop. Here I will create let's create a new file, txt file, and sample, let's say sample Python. Okay, so if I wanted to move it, just drag and put it over here. So you can see here sample python.txt. If I wanted to open it, double click on it and this file is open. Either you can add the content into this file over here in the desktop where you have created and then drop it into your editor, or you can simply create a file and drag and drop over here, and here you can add some content. Let's say I write here hello hello world. So I have some random data here. Welcome to learning or Python learning, and let me add some random value here. Okay, so this is my file. No need to control S or to save the file. The file is automatically saved over here. Now go back to our main.py. So this is Python file and this is txt file. Okay, let me remove this Python. So we have this file sample python.txt which we are going to read in this uh, Python file. Okay, so how we can read? The first is first create one variable. Let me create a variable fill, and here what you need to do is you have to use open function, because to read the data we have to use the open function that here, and here you have to give the file name, and also whenever you wanted to read you have to provide the mode of the operation. So whenever we use this open function you have to provide the path of file. I'll tell I will provide you the syntax of open, and here you have to provide the mode of operation. So what is your intention to open this file, that you have to mention in the form of mode. So what is your intention or what is your mode of operation? Do you want to write any data into the file? Do you want to read the data in of this file? So that mode you have to provide. So mode we have different: read, write, append, delete. So these are the modes. So they are abbreviated with small r, small w, small a. Okay, so small r is nothing for the read, and here you have to give the path because the file is itself in the code editor here. So no need to give the complete path. You have to only give the name of this path. You have to give the name of this path. So let's say I was saying python.txt. So here you can see this is done. Now you have to print all the data what we have here. So for that you have to loop for I in whatever the data we have in this file, in this variable. Go ahead and print I. So this way we will print each of the data what we have inside this in new lines. So let me try to execute it. There you will see, if you see in the terminal, this is hi, hello world, welcome to the Python learning 2.4. So here you can see all the data is coming in the new line, okay. So this will give you to read the data of the content into the new line always. So here the second option what we can do is we can use the method read. So this is also an inbuilt method. With the help of that you can also read the file. So how you can use this read function? So I will take the same variable here and I will open the file one more time. With the same we have to give the name of file python. Okay, and we have to provide our intention or the mode, that is read, and here you have to print fill.read. So here, so this is the inbuilt method which will read all the content of the file as it is. It will not provide any new line character here. Let me execute it. You can see here, because here I have already this content in new lines. I mean hello world in the first line, welcome to the Python learning in the second line, and this is in the third line. So here you can see the similarly the data is displayed here. Sample file not found. Let me see what happened here. Okay, this we got an error, python.txt. Now try to execute it one more time. You can see what happened. Did you see the notice here? Did you notice here, like here what is happening for each is I in file variable print I. So it provided a one space between two lines, right? but when I use the dot read, it will give the data as it is what I have uh, in my file. Okay, hi hello world. So there is no new line here. If, let's say, if I have only this thing, there is no content over here. Let's say I have only this thing. Okay, then it will display only this line without any let me control Z. So that way, this is the difference between the read and uh, a traditional approach of printing the data in line by line. Now, let's suppose if you have a requirement to see to read only the first 6 characters or 7 characters, like that. So in that case also, what you can do is, all you have to do is you have to pass the number of characters to which you wanted to read in the read function. So here you can see I have passed the 8 characters. So that means first 8 character it will going to read. So let me execute it. So to show this, see here, hello, hi hello only got pressed. So let me comment this out so that you will get the clear picture of what I am trying to say here. If I try to execute now, see, although my file is having 3 lines, but I'm getting hi hello only. So it present only the 8 characters. Okay, now is there any other way to read the file? Yes, we have. There is one more with keyword. With the help of this keyword also, we can read the file. So how we can do it? So the syntax would go like this: with, so with open, you have to use this open function again, and do not terrified or afraid because of this content which is coming here. So just focus on your task here, what you need to do. So uh, with open, as we have to give the name, right? So this so what this keyword is doing, this keyword is basically give instruction to the controller that with this file as fill, you go ahead and read the data. Okay, you go ahead and read the data. So for that, what we need to do is fill dot read, and we have to place this data, whatever the data is being read, we have to put it in some kind of variable. So let's say file data, and now go ahead and print this file data, whatever you have read. So you understood here what I have done. With the help of with keyword, with open this file as fill, so read the data and put it in the variable and then print the data. So if I try to execute it, you can see the three lines here: hi hello world, welcome to the Python learning. So this is coming here. So with the help of the with keyword also, we can read the uh, read the data from the file. Okay, so this is the way. And here is one more thing. There is also one more way by which we can read the data, that is with the help of split. Although split is used to split the data, but with the help of split function also, we can we can use this. So split is a function, it's not a keyword. With is a keyword. Okay, so split, with the help of the split, we can get the data. How we can do it? So with, let me copy paste this as it is so that I do not have to write it multiple times. So the very first thing is with open as fill. Okay, so this is nothing but it is getting a reading the data. And the same thing, if you wanted to spread down the data of what we have in the Python, so this is also the way. So here what is happening, it is reading the entire data, but if you wanted to split it down the data, okay, and read it, then in that case what you can do is, you have to, whatever the data you read it, file data dot, you have to split it down. So we can pass the some characters also, or we can pass a space also. So what will happen, it will read the data, that all the content will be loaded into this variable, and then we will split it down with a space. So let's execute it to see how the data is been splitted down and we can read it. See here, I have added a space here, so the data is read in the form of the list. Here the data is splitted: hi hello world, welcome to the Python learning. So everything, it's all the word is taken as a one, you can say a one element in the list. So this way you can split it down the data and you can read the content into the from the file. Okay, so this is all about how we can read the data. Now coming to how we can write the data. if we have the file, like we have a sample python here, okay, and this is the default content, but I wanted to write something on this data. Keep a note that when we write it, the existing data would be overwritten. Okay, we are not appending it. In case of appending, then the existing data will remain as it is and it will append in the last. But when we write it, then existing data will be removed and the new data will be pasted. So for writing it the same way, we have to only change the mode of mode of operation. So here also the same thing, we have to open the file. Okay, say similarly we have the same thing, we have to do it. Only the thing is here we have to, instead of r, we have to provide a w. Okay, so after that you have to use the write function. As we know in all other programming languages also, when we work on the file handling to write the content into the file, we have to use the write function. Okay, and here you can mention any of the, this is sample write data, like that, anything you can mention here, and then you have to close this to release the memory. Now if you try to execute, intended problem here, because we have this space, let's remove this space. We got one error. Now you can see we did not get any output. Why? Because it is just writing the data, we did not read the data. So there is nothing, but there is no error also. Let's go and check in the python sample python.txt to see if data has been right over here. Let me close it and open this. Data is not been overwritten here. Oh, I'm sorry, I have mentioned sample python. So let's open this. This is sample. You see, I did not have this file sample python, and by mistake I've used sample python, not .txt. So what happened, if there is no file with this name is present, it will create a new file and it will place the content what we have mentioned in the write function. So the same thing it did it. That's good. So here you can see. Now if I again use the .txt, so what it gonna do, let me execute it. So no error here. Now go back to the sample python. You can see this is the sample write data. Okay, you can see the existing data what we had earlier, hi, hello world, welcome, this has been now overwritten. Okay, so this is how we can use the w as a write operator and to write the content. Okay, now is there any other way we can write the data? Yes, with the help of with keyword. As we say, the with keyword we can read the data as well as write the data also. Same syntax here also. Sample python .txt. Okay, and here we will use w as write operation, and here is fill, and then we have to do it. You can see earlier we have to do it fill.read and we have to place it into the variable, and here you have to write fil variable what we have dot write. This is write, this is sample write data using with keyword. Okay, so what happened, so this was the earlier one content, and now this is going to change the content. If you execute it, we did not get any error. Now go back to check the content. This is a sample write data using the with keyword. Okay, so this way also, with the help of the with keyword also, you can write the data. Okay, now so this is the two ways by which you can read and write, write the data into the file. Now coming to the append, as I said earlier, if you wanted to understand what is append is basically, if you wanted to append is basically to append or add the new characters or new data into the existing file without impacting the existing data into the file. Let's say I have this data, right, this is sample, right, I don't want it to be overwritten, although I have to add one more line into it. So for that append operation we need to use it. Same thing here also, only everything is same here, only the mode of operation would be changed here. We see sample python.txt, and here instead of r or w we have to use small a. Small a represents the append. Okay, So that is all we have to do, and here we have to write. So what is the existing content, what is the line which you wanted or content which you wanted to append, that you can mention this is append line, and all you have to, and instead of this would be fill is a variable, and here let's remove the memory here, and you can see there is no error. Go back to the sample. See here, this is append line. Okay, if you wanted to add it into the new line, as a new line, you can add new line character over here and try to execute. See, now this will come into the new line. And why there is a space? If you go back here, you can see there is a space. If you remove this space, execute it again. Now there is no intent here, and this is a appended line. So this way you can read. I have shown you multiple ways to read the files using the read traditional approach, then using the read function with keyword, using the split function, and write. We have two options with keywords, and append, you can append the file. So I hope you like the video.